Yes. Hello. Today's Tuesday. We're back from Memorial Day. I hope you had a great Memorial Day weekend, long weekend. Today is Tuesday, May 26th, 2020. Nearing the end of May. You know what comes next, don't you? Because I don't. No, it's June. June comes next. And then June will go by like that, just like May did. Classic story today. I'm sure you've probably seen it before. And if you haven't, then I feel that I'm very fortunate to be the one reading this story to you. If you've read it before, join along. Sing along. Don't sing, there's no songs. Actually, there is kind of a song eventually in the story. The book I'm talking about, of course, obviously, I'm sure you know. No, there's no way you could know. Is Where the Wild Things Are. Where the Wild Things Are. Where are the wild things? They're in this book. And the story and the pictures are by Maurice Sendak. And this is a classic story. I had this story when I was a kid, read to me. And it's a fun story. Here's a monster, one of the wild things sleeping. And there's a boat. No one's on the boat. Maybe the monster is going to go on the boat. No, that's not going to happen. Where the wild things are. I'm going to do some good voice work. Good voice work for this one. Where the Wild Things Are. Story and pictures. The author and the illustrator is Maurice Sendak. The night Max wore his wolf suit and made mischief of one kind. Let's see what mischief he's making. He's hanging stuff up there. He's being kind of industrious, I think. And another. Oh, this is less good, actually. He's chasing the dog with is that a fork? I guess he's pretending to be a wild thing. He has a costume there. His mother called him Wild Thing, and Max said, I'll eat you up. So he was sent to bed without eating anything. And he's pretty upset. He's like, I guess I went too far. I shouldn't have pretended to eat the dog. Oh boy, I didn't even get his supper that very night. In Max's room, a forest grew. Wow, the trees are just coming out of the walls there. And grew, and he's having a good time. He's starting to laugh. And grew until his ceiling hung with vines and the walls became the world all around. And all of a sudden, there's no more room. It's him, nighttime. It was nighttime before. The moon was out before, if you remember. And he is in the middle of the forest, middle of the jungle. I don't know how that happened. And an ocean tumbled by with a private boat for Max. And he sailed off through night and day. So he went on a big ocean trip. And in and out of weeks and almost over a year to where the wild things are. A year on the boat. And whoa, he has met the first wild thing. And he certainly seems pretty scared now. He was pretty brave before when he was chasing after that dog with a fork. Imagine if you did that. Do not do that, because then your mom will be upset and she'll send you to bed without the supper. And when he came to the place where the wild things are, they roared their terrible roars. They gnashed their terrible teeth. And they rolled their terrible eyes. And showed him their terrible claws. Whoa, boy, oh boy. So he was scared at first. Now he's not so scared. He's like, you don't scare me. What do you think? Who's your favorite? I guess this guy's probably pretty funny. But she has long hair. I think she has long hair. There's a movie about this. There's a movie made with this as well. And that was a girl's voice. Till Max said, be still! And tamed them with the magic trick of staring into all their yellow eyes without blinking once. And they were frightened and called him the most wild thing of all. That's a neat trick. I guess they haven't seen that trick before. It's a pretty wild thing to not blink. I'm going to spend the next 3 minutes staring at you and not blinking. Okay, that's boring. And made him king of all the wild things. There he is on the throne. And now, cried Max, let the wild rumpus start. And now they're going to start to dance and be wild and crazy and howl at the moon and do all kinds of crazy things. Oh, they'll be happy about that. There's no words on this page. I'll let this picture speak for itself, but I'll give the music to give them something to dance to. We are the wild things we are, and going to the wild place. We gotta hang from the vines and dance around and see who's gonna be the one to fall the last. That's fun. They're having a good old time. Here's the last picture with no words. He has really ruled them. He's riding on them, and they're okay with that. Because you know what? He's their king, and they worship him now. And that's the end of the story. No, I'm just joking. Here we go. Let's see what happens next. Now stop, Max said, and sent the wild things off to bed without their supper. Kind of like what happened to him. And Max, the king of all the wild things, was lonely and wanted to be where someone loved him best of all. Then all around, from far away across the world, he smelled good things to eat. So he gave up being king of where the wild things are. He had his fun, and now while they're sleeping, he says, you know what? I'm done with this. But the wild things cried, oh, please don't go. We'll eat you up. We love you so. And Max said, no. The wild things roared their terrible roars and gnashed their terrible teeth and rolled their terrible eyes and showed their terrible claws. But Max stepped into his private boat and waved goodbye. Said, you know what, guys? You can do all you want. I'm done. And sailed back over a year and in and out of weeks and through a day. Any idea where he's headed now? And into the night of his very own room, where he found his supper waiting for him. This was the best part. And it was still hot. Now, to me, that means that this was all his imagination. And what seemed like it took a year, maybe 2 years, and all these months with the monsters and the wild things, was all just a few minutes in his head. Maybe he took a nap and he dreamed it all. But was it real? Maybe you believe it was real. I'd like to believe it was real. Where the Wild Things Are. There we go. There's the book. Again, that was by Maurice Sendak. I'll see you tomorrow for another story. Goodbye.